Hello, and welcome to the office hours for week 13 of MBA 590 Digital Marketing. I just wanted to take this time to kind of catch up with you a little bit as we're nearing the end of class and talk about what the last couple of steps are. So first of all, good news is that all the videos are now up, and so you can kind of watch through the end of class at your leisure at this point. The other comment is that I do hope to have tactics and implementations grades back to you today, and analytics grades back to you in the next couple of days. So basically, I'll have all the grading done to be completely caught up within the next few days, giving you 2 weeks to kind of work on all the final kind of aspects of your plans and everything like that. So hopefully that'll work out well. And there will also be a new reading posted today. This will be the last reading since starting next week we get into the final project presentations. Hopefully that's the major things you need to kind of accomplish. Most of that actually you don't have to do anything about. That's all me. But you do have to watch the videos and read over your grades as they come back. In terms of the final project, of course, we've talked about the 3 major group components already. I also wanted to mention, I haven't been doing a good job of mentioning this on a regular basis, but you will also be asked to complete a peer evaluation. And basically the goal of the peer evaluation is that you get a chance to evaluate how well your peers contributed to the group project. That goes directly in to the final grades. And so moderated by my looking at the comments and everything like that, of course. And so part of it will be directly responsible. It will be directly taken into account. So that's one thing that you have to do, and that has to be turned in by the last day of class, which, as we determined, is April 26th. So that has to be turned in by April 26th. The final project presentation, the PDF slide, the slide deck has to be turned in. You have to do the presentation itself. It looks like as of right now, I believe that 7 of the teams have now signed up, which is great. That's fantastic. Actually, 7 of the teams have signed up. So that's great. So we're just waiting on one last team, I believe. And I'm just double checking the doodle poll real quick as we talk. Yeah, 7 teams have signed up. So we're waiting on one last team to sign up. So the final project presentation and the slide deck obviously will need to be turned in. The final project document itself, obviously, which I'm really looking forward to. I think that based upon the tactics and implementations I've looked at so far, there's going to be some real cool ideas in there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the final product of that. And then the examples of creative that you've done, whether it be a website redesign, social media, or whatever content you're doing along those lines. That's also what I need to look at. So that's about it. I've had a couple of questions. People have asked, how will our peers evaluate this? And one of the older versions of the group project, I think I've taken out of the most recent one. If I haven't, you should just ignore it. They've talked about having your classmates evaluate you. That obviously, in the online class, that's not easy to do. So we're just going to skip that part of it for the group project evaluation. Right, so your final grade on the presentation will be completely determined by me rather than anything to do with your classmates who ask about it. So that was one question I had recently. I also had a question about what kind of the final creative we should see. The final creative content. As I mentioned in several of the group meetings, right, I'm kind of loose about the quantity of pages. I'd rather see quality over quantity. But basically, you should be creating about 2 to 3 examples of content for every single tactic that you're recommending that the firm use, right? So they can actually see, so I can get an idea of what it looks like. And if you're doing something like a website redesign or something like that where you're changing content that has existed before, it's helpful to point out why you're making those changes, what the goal of making those changes is. So you can attach an appendix or something like that to the main document that would help explain that a little bit. The other thing that I've had a question about is the page numbers. And I said roughly 30 pages if you you just kind of wrote straight through and everything like that, right? Um, that doesn't that I'm not including creative examples in that or the appendices, any appendices you might do as well in that number. So that excludes those kind of elements. I'm also not terribly concerned about the page number, right? I'd rather see high quality work that's kind of consistent and really well thought out. And I think based upon the feedback and the conversations we've had, you've had some idea of what I'm looking for when I say that now. And I'd rather see that than see a specific number of pages, right? I think that's the only questions I've had on the group projects. So just to recap, this week, basically all the videos are up now. Feel free to watch them at your leisure. The grades should be turned back to you shortly, especially tactics and implementation. I'm planning to try and get back to you today. And then it's just basically finishing up the class, working on the final project presentation, and the creative examples. Finally, the one thing that I've been forgetting to mention the last couple of times, but I want to reiterate this time, is that you will actually be asked to evaluate your group members, your peer members of your group, and that will affect your grade as well for 5% of the grade, I believe, overall. And yeah, so that's about it for today. I look forward to kind of going through the last 2 weeks with you and getting this all wrapped up. Take care, everybody.